Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and dreamers of all ages, welcome to the Disney Countdown Show.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Hello, and welcome everyone back to another episode of the Disney Countdown Show. I am the Dapper Danielle, and I am joined again from the lovely Miss Magical Millennial, who's all the way back home now for this episode. She's no longer over here at Walt Disney World. She's back over on the California coast. So how you doing, babe? Have you survived? Have you slept at all?
I did survive. I've been sleeping. Yes, I've been catching up on sleep because I was just telling our wonderful Patreon who's in the chat as we are recording here that I slept for a grand total of maybe 12 to 13 hours over our entire trip, which was three days and change. So, yes, I am recovering. I tend to do that when I just get like really excited about being at Disney World and I had work to do, and it was not a good combination for the Magical Millennial. I'm very surprised that I'm not ill right now, because usually when I don't sleep for multiple days at a time, I get sick. That's like what my body tends to do, but I'm doing just great. I'm here. I'm getting ready for Star Wars night tonight. So yeah, very excited.
Do you have your outfit all around and ready for that?
I do. It's sitting right in the other room for me. I'm going to put it on after we record and shoot some videos with it, because I'm very excited about it and to show people, which you already know, of course, if you follow me on the socials. I will have many a video out by now for Star Wars night.
For sure. And if y'all do not follow us on the socials, again, remember, we are the Disney Countdown Show on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Pod Disney over on Twitter and X. And you also can watch full videos here on Spotify if you're watching over on Spotify, or over on the YouTube. Hello, YouTube fan. That's also where you can watch us too now. And also, you can follow along with Megan's content and all of the stuff that she's posting for Star Wars night over on hers, the Magical Millennial _ on all the things. And then I am the Dapper Danielle on all the things. Yeah, y'all have been here before. You know how this works.
They know the drill. They get it. Yeah. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a very exciting episode for you. We are counting down our top 1 through 5 Disney Parks queues. And I hope you guys enjoyed our 6 through 10. Very excited to see what Danielle's 1 through 5 are. But if you like or disagree, or, have something to say about our countdowns ever, of course, feel free to rate and or review us. We do have reviews that are available on Apple. And of course, you can rate us on Spotify. And if you want to send us a little brief thing about what you think of our countdowns or the podcast in general, you can always DM us as well, which we have a few to read here today, Danielle. If you want to kick us off with this first one.
Yes. Okay. So this first one is from Nick 64554. I think that's what we're going to say. And it says, the best, 5 stars. Oh, thank you. And exclamation mark. It's so fun listening to these lovely ladies gush about Disney and making my list alongside them. An idea for a countdown would be top Disney couples. I have some odd ones, like who is this? Dr. Doppler and Captain Amelia from Treasure Planet. Oh, people do ship them, and would love to hear your list. Thanks for bringing up some. Thanks for bringing some Disney joy to my life. Oh, thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah, and thanks for listening.
I have a feeling this one was brought about by when I was talking about Jesse and Buzz on that other episode a while back, and how I'm like, no, I ship them when other people ship Jesse and Woody. I think that's what this comment's coming from for that one. That's a good idea.
It is a good idea. I don't know if we've ever had a Disney couple suggestion before, but I would love to do it. I think that's a fabulous idea.
We'll call it Disney Power Couples.
Disney Power Couples. That's right. We've done like love songs and stuff for Valentine's Day, but the couples idea, we could definitely mix that in here.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. This next one is from, oh boy, Erkebo, Erkebo, and says, love and possible episode idea with 5 stars.
Oh, everybody
Thank you so
with
much.
ideas.
Yeah. And they say, I found this show through Megan and Danielle's social media. Love them both. So I started listening. catching up on old episodes as well, and loving it all. As someone planning a Disney trip, this is such a fun way to get what I feel is insider info about the parks. Have you ever considered doing your countdown of the top Encanto/Incredibles powers? Disney powers. Ooh. Then you can add in what your power would be if you had one. Just a thought. Thank you for all the joy you bring. I love that.
Ooh.
Okay, so Disney superpowers. Big fan of that idea, because I feel like we definitely, with all the incredible superheroes, I feel like we could at least create a top 10.
Well, we could do incredible superheroes, Encanto, and there's a couple other, or we can even expand it to be like magical Disney creatures vibes also, and like how some of them have specific powers. That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think we've gotten that suggestion before, so thank you for that.
Oh, boy, everybody's so creative. No, but not in the sarcastic way like that one lady does on Instagram or TikTok. But
Everybody's so creative.
That's the legit, like, no, that's actually very creative. I agree with you guys.
No, it is really, yes. Thank you. Thank you for your suggestions.
Now, like Megan was saying, if you can't, if you don't want to write a response over on Apple, maybe you do listen to us on Spotify and you can't write that, you can send us a DM over on our Instagram page. And that's what we call fan mail. And we do have one right here. Is this from Liana?
Ileana, I think.
Ileana on
Ileana.
Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, hello, I am a huge fan of you both. I love listening to all things Disney, and it helps bring a little magic to my everyday life. Few notes. Number 1. I love the characters countdown. I had my students make their own top 5 characters, and we did a guessing game matching them to their lists. Oh, I did not do so well, but it was fun to get to know my students a little bit more. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one too.
Yes.
And then number 2, back in 2005, Disney Mania 3 album came out. Clay Aiken had a version of Proud of Your Boy in that album, along with many other covers by pop stars. My millennial heart went straight to nostalgia when you all started to talk about that song. So good. Oh,
I just got full body chills seeing the Clay Aiken Proud of Your Boy, because I know exactly what that song sounds like. I listened to it many times and I completely forgot that existed even when we were talking about it. I believe that was in our Broadway episode.
Well, it was in our Broadway episode. And doesn't it sound entirely different from the Broadway version, if I remember?
His is a little more pop, because Clay Aiken was a pop singer. Is a pop singer, excuse me. He's still around. And oh my, we were the biggest Clay Aiken fans back in the day with American Idol. I think he was season 2, and I totally remember that song. And I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together when we were talking about it before with our wonderful guest hosts.
Well, I guess it's another rabbit hole to go down later, I think.
I think so. I think we need to do like a Disney Mania countdown or something, because I have my thoughts on Disney Mania songs. And that would be a major throwback.
For sure. Oh, yeah. That would be a serious throwback, because we still play the Disney Mania soundtrack in our Fantasmic pre-show.
Yes, you do. I've heard it.
Good times, man.
Good times.
Hilary Duff's version of the Enchanted Tiki Room, vibe.
Yep. Oh my God. Total vibe. Oh, wow. Brings me back. Oh, man. All right. Well, this next one is from Anika, or Annika, excuse me. If it's Anika or Annika, I apologize for mispronouncing it. We got 5 stars here, and she says, oh my goodness, I have found my people. I was sold on the podcast when Danielle mentioned If I Can't Love Her in the Love Songs episode, but the love everyone gave it in the Disney Broadway Songs episode was really validating. This has been my favorite song of all time since about 3rd grade, when I saw the show for the first time at the Muni in St. Louis.
Wow.
Is it Muni or Muni? I believe that is a popular theater in St. Louis. It is the reason I started playing French horn. I have seen Beauty and the Beast, the musical, 5 times and can't wait for more. The thing I will say, though, is that you're all repping the Josh Groban version, but the original Broadway cast recording is the way to go. Otherwise, you lose the sweeping horn interlude, which is such a euphoric moment. That's good to know. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for loving the song as much as I do. So many people don't even know of its greatness. This bit of extra magic you both bring to me and the community you have created through your personal accounts and the partnership on this podcast is so special. Thank you so much.
Sweet.
That was wonderful. And thank you so much for the tip on listening to the original Broadway cast recording, because that was the first time I had heard it through that one. And then obviously Josh Groban with their live action kind of live version of Beauty and the Beast was, it was included there, but I do think the original Broadway cast recording is indeed the way to go.
And I love how she's just repping the band kids to be like, no, listen
Like,
for the
no.
French horn.
There can't miss the French horn, and I'm here for it. I was in band. I did the band thing in middle school. I'm here for it.
I
Love that.
No,
Me
okay.
too.
Now I will go back through and I will re-listen again, because not twist my arm, why don't you? Make me listen
Twist
to
my
my
arm.
favorite song over again, and I'll listen
Yes.
specifically just for the French horn in the background.
Which I will too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want a little bit more of our extra fun magical bonus content, which we are going to be, of course, recording today, we do also have a Patreon. For those who don't know, and we have some new Patreons that were just added to the fam over last week. So we have April, Vicky, Leah, Adam, and Christine. Welcome to the Disney Countdown Show Patreon fam.
Yeah.
And we have so much that we do over there. We have the bonus content. We have our virtual hangs. We have some fun giveaways that we do monthly. We have, if you join, we have some fun things that we send to you.
Megan,
So, yeah.
we have over 200 people now as part of our Patreon family.
No way.
Isn't
we
that
have over
crazy?
200. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
I remember back in the day when we got excited over maybe like 50. Now we're at 200.
Or like 25.
That's crazy. 25.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Oh, my
wow, that
goodness.
is crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's really exciting. Hi everyone. And hello to our DC 33. That is our top tier level for our Patreon there in the chat right now watching us record this live. So hello everybody. But yeah, you can do some fun stuff like that if you join our DC 33 level. And we also have some pins that we send out there. We just, we're over 50 now at that level, which is really exciting. Very exciting.
I just sent over the artwork for the regular pin designs. So there's two different pin designs. There's one that had our crest symbol and it said founding member. That went to the very first 50 people. And then the new version is just the classic DC 33 crest that I created. I sent it over to Danny, our producer. He has sent it over to the pin manufacturer. Those are currently being worked on as we speak. And you might start seeing those pop up in your mail here very, very soon.
Yay! Danielle is such an amazing artist. She did a great job. It looks legit. Very pretty.
With it myself. I was like,
it's so cool. It's so cool. We've had some people send pictures of it.
We got to see it in person. We ran into one of our DC 33 members,
yes.
Leanne.
And
she's in the virtual audience right now today, and we ran into her over at Epcot, and she had it in her pin bag with pictures of, or other pins of my son, Orange Bird, and it just looks so cute in there. And that was our first time actually getting to see the pin for real life and like a tangible in front of us, and it looked really, really cool. So thanks, Leanne. So glad we ran into you.
Yeah. Oh, that was so fun to see, Leanne. It's always so fun to meet you guys, even just the listeners. Like I've run into quite a few people who have said they listen to the podcast. So thank you guys so much for listening. And of course, if you want access to that bonus content, or you want your own pin yourself, so you can become a DC33 member. You can become a Patreon. The link is in our episode notes, or of course search Disney Countdown Show on Patreon. And then if you want to become a paid subscriber, that does give you access to the bonus content right away, and you can do that on Spotify or Apple.
Speaking of bonus episodes, so we are recording another bonus episodes. There is going to be the 10 through 15 or the 11 through 15 of the queues. But me and Megan also recorded an additional bonus episode while we were running around Epcot. And that is also going to be available through our subscribers and our Patreon followers. So make sure if you are not, we do go on 2 rides.
And
I don't know how well they're turning out, Chris. I am so sorry in advance for having to edit that episode, but more to come.
We had our little microphones, and Danielle was trying ever so hard to put that microphone up to the sound from the rides. So we did our best.
Speaker points.
Yes. Yeah. She knew exactly. She kind of knew where those were. So we were really trying. You'll see the rides that we went on. You might get my true thoughts on a certain ride with a purple dragon over at Epcot. But it was a good time, and we do it all for you guys. That's what we love. We just bring the magic to you.
Now, I don't even know if we've actually said it this episode, but we have a special guest for this episode. It is Disney Dan.
Yes, Disney Dan, our wonderful a YouTube creator. He's mostly on YouTube, right?
Yes, well, he is on the Instagram, he is on the TikTok, but
On the
he
gram,
is known
yes.
in the YouTube community, and his name should be possibly changing here very soon. It's not going to necessarily be Disney Dan, because he is trying to
Yes.
branch out and cover multiple different theme parks
parks.
and other companies. He goes through all the deep dive history on like mascots, everything from like Hershey Park to everything else in between. So he does a lot of the history stuff, and that's why I'm like, okay, he'd be a good fit. We need to bring him on to this one, and it's obscure enough that we thought he would really enjoy this countdown. So we do have his countdown, and then at the very end, you're going to hear our 1 through 5 of our favorite cues.
Yes, and we'll be bringing him in just a moment. He honestly has the biggest energy that I've ever seen in my life. He's so high energy. I absolutely love it. He was so he just brought a lot to his cues, and a lot of opinions about his cues, which I loved. And he was a perfect guest to have on this particular episode. I agree.
Oh, for sure. I think we should go ahead and bring him on in. All right, everyone, welcome into the studio, Disney Dan, my other dapper Dan half over here. How are you?
How did I get here? I was just in the middle of making a video. I'm
now
on my
you're
set.
here.
What's going on, guys? You can't just summon me like that. You can't say my name 3 times and then just hope I'll show up.
What, Disney Dan.
Fine. I'm here. What do you want? No. Oh my goodness. I love you guys.
We want to talk to you. We want to
ask you questions, and I'm
Yes.
loving the
Me? You
setup
wanna
that
talk
we
to me?
have.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my
You guys,
gosh,
this is great.
I'm just now realizing, y'all, if you are listening into this podcast, you cannot see this right now, but behind Dan on his desk is a Kermit the Frog phone that came out in the early 80s.
That's a good spot, Danielle. I didn't even see that.
Not only do I have I also have the box it came in, which is really cool.
Stop.
But when Yellow Shoes calls me, when Yellow Shoes calls me on the yellow phone, this is like the bat phone, So when Yellow Shoes is like, Dan, we need ideas. Dan, we're falling apart at the seams. We've put the Hatbox Ghost in the hallway, Dan. We don't know what to do. Someone help us. When this thing rings, it's not even plugged in, but when it rings, I know to answer. You know what I mean? That's Disney magic. So, and also when I got it, the eyeball had like the reason I got it so cheap because one of the eyeballs had fully fallen in and like flipped. And it took years of surgical like luck to finally wiggle that thing. And then I emptied Kermit's head is mostly filled with super glue because I was like, I'm not giving it the space to fall back. I just filled every crack I could with super glue, and we're just praying that it stays in place.
It looks so good.
I'm
You never would have guessed.
And I want one of those so bad that I added it to my Christmas list so that my family can hunt one down for me. And I'm like, this is all I want. I just want this one. And
It's crazy. I'm about to put it on my set right now, but I also have one of my Kermit Big Figs, and he's like he's like posing, like one of the gals from Sex and the City, on a plinth, like
It is
this
so
is the most absurd
amazing.
thing ever. I have too much Kermit stuff, Danielle. But
this is
No
why
such thing.
the
No
Dans
such
get
thing.
along
Muppets
so well.
Countdown. There could be a Muppets Countdown network. You just give me a call, old Disney Dan. I'll get a Muppets Countdown going for you guys. Just let us know in the comments, fans.
Countdown.
Yeah, lots of Muppet stuff.
I'm obsessed. I love it so
Amazing.
much. And even Megan is the one that gifted me my Kermit plush that I have. He's hidden way off here to the side. But I'm obsessed with your entire backdrop and everything that you have in the set right now. This is great.
Thanks.
It's got
Thank
the
you.
figment
I'm
back
glad.
there too.
I'm glad I just moved. So this is I just moved in with my partner. And so now this is like the spare bedroom that I turned into my studio, and it's like it feels very makeshift at the moment, but I feel very at home after only being here 3 months, and so I'm
I think it's coming together
love it.
wonderfully. I love it.
Thanks, gals. This
Of
is
course.
great. I love this. I'll just, whenever I'm feeling down, I'll just come. I'll put something new in the set. I'll come on the podcast. And you
Oh,
guys
we're
are like,
always here.
Dan,
We're always here to hype you up.
Dan,
Yes.
what's that in the background you got, you know?
Well, and that's what we're known for. We're known for making it a very welcoming space, very inclusive space, and we love that you're here and that you're talking with us. And you know what, Dan? What we need to know is a little more about you. Now, a lot of people recognize you and know you from your YouTube world, right? That's what everybody knows you from.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
I for the most part, I feel like, and I got to know you and started watching your videos because you also did some deep dive in some Disney history as well. And we go into a lot of like mascot and theme park character history. And
yeah, absolutely. And I know I love when you think of random things in the middle of the night that no one wants to hear, but you're going to tell them anyway. And every once in a while, my videos will pop up and you'll be like, you got to go watch a Disney. They have this or that. So I appreciate that I'm in. I appreciate that I'm like your Encyclopedia Britannica costume guy, that you just, pull up the video and be like, oh, just watch this. I got, I just update on this. So yeah, mascot history is so incredible to me. And by and large, a lot of people don't put the stakes in mascots with Disney in their memory pool as much as they think they do. They think about the rides, they think about the food, they think about, yada, yada, yada. But like specifically in America, I would say that mascots like exist in the background, but they are literally like the blood of the park that like connects the magic, like it's like the connective tissue that lives between the theme spaces, and it's like, like I go to Disney where I was like, Mickey lives here, man, right. and that's why Disney cruises are so wild, because you're on a Disney boat, you're like on a boat. I've been on a Norwegian or whatever, and they've got like a margarita steakhouse or what, and like SpongeBob is like maybe on a show here or there, but like Disney cruises, man, it feels like Mickey's just in one of the rooms that you're in. You know what I mean? Like or Goofy Dot, like you're like, it's bizarro, like no one goes to Six Flags and thinks Batman lives there. You know what I mean? But like you go to Disney World and like, I met Mickey in backstage at the theater. He was getting ready, right after he met me, he went out there and made magic, like it's
so accurate.
Yeah, very accurate.
They're really, really, really wildly important to the immersive aspect. And it's why you see them all the time. It's why dance parties are everywhere all the time, because it's a daytime activation that brings out characters. It grounds the story of the land, it's why we think that Batuu and Galaxy's Edge is so like barren in a lot of ways, because of like how flat the world, how empty this very clearly busy bazaar and a work port is. Like suddenly this one alley doesn't have anything going on in it, guys.
To be fair, though, like, that's just a Disney World problem. Disneyland, their people are crawling around all over the place.
We do have them. Yes, we got the people walking around. Yes, that's true. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, it's one of the first things. They're one of the first things you see when you walk through the gates, that they're there, and you're then eyes widen. Then they get the sudden feeling of magic. I would say that's like the first thing that does that for you when you walk through the gates. So I fully agree. Yeah. Super important. Yeah. I have to admit,
Tinkerbell flies over you at night, guys.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like Mickey up, like launches out of the roof of the cabin on Tom Sawyer's Island to defeat, Maleficent. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like when you think about it, the fact that the parks are a stage, like the parks are just theater. It's all theater. It's all theater, And so like, it's cool. It's cool to see all that,
Yeah.
And so that's where my bread and butter has laid for a while, everyone, now I've branched out to talk about other costumes and stuff. I just did a great video on Pop-Tarts, the mascot.
Yes, I haven't watched that yet, but I am so tempted to. I need to watch that one. It's a wild ride.
It will take you on a real mental journey through your Pop-Tart memories, because I know you have a lot and you don't even realize how many Pop-Tart memories you have. It's great. It's great.
Well, and you also did one here recently on Furbies too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So what's wild is like, if I don't cover a Disney character, like the videos sit and simmer for like no one watches them. No one watches. And they sit and simmer until like something happens with Furby. And then like, Furby will explode. Like I posted the Grinch and it got, not a Disney character, and it will sit now for like a year, but come Thanksgiving this year, people start searching the Grinch, and then it will slowly get swept up and stuff. And so I love covering weird costumes.
Seasonal.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm about to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is up next, and
Yes!
Nice.
and it's crazy. I found at least 18 variants of promotional costumes that have been produced since '87 that have been out for the public to meet. It's wild,
18.
and the Furby video is crazy, isn't it? Like, I had no idea there were these mega Furbies that you could hug and squeeze. It was so much fun.
It's crazy.
I had no idea either. Wow.
I'm excited to see you tie in the 90s MGM with the Ninja Turtles and how I'm obsessed with them. And that's probably the one IP that's not Disney that I really, really love. Me and Donatello freaking love Donatello.
Oh my gosh. And Donatello goes on a real journey in my video. Let me tell you something. They really disrespect my boy Donatello, RIP. It's really, you'll just have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's crazy. It's wild because MGM was a producer on those live action turtle movies, and I guess the park's called MGM Studios, like let's use it to promote our stuff too, and it's what an era, that is so void now. And the best example is Bluey. Why isn't Bluey is tied to American Disney audiences, and Disney just cannot get a hold of them to get them in the parks, and it's bananas to watch because it's like a lot of kids would think that Bluey is a Disney show.
Yeah,
right.
It's on Disney Plus. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's
Costume
happening with Miraculous Ladybug. She's on Disney, I think in the UK, but here she's Nickelodeon. And so a lot of our followers and listeners are kind of confused on where she lays with that. And I think Bluey kind of ties in with all that too. It's so interesting who controls what or is allowed to show what, especially now in our new world of digital media and all these new contracts of who's creating what and what's going on to what platform, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But Dan, can you explain to us a little bit, like, how did this really start for you? Like, what really got you into the Disney side of things and into the Disney history side of things?
I was originally covered Disney video games. I covered Disney Infinity and a lot of other Disney games. And when those games shuttered eventually, I just pivoted to another part of Disney content that still was incredibly adjacent to the merchandising that was the Disney video games, and that was theme parks. People who like to spend money on Disney video games also like to spend money on Disney parks and merch. And so I just continued to cover those things. And the audience just kept growing from there. And I did an evolution of Mickey's costume because of my theater roots. And then that took off. And I've just been making content ever since, desperately trying to find my voice as a creator and looking for approval from all of you.
Well, seeking validation from everyone.
I love it. And I love that your history videos when it comes to the theme park characters has really, like, I use it as source material for a lot of my random Disney things to be like, Dan found a picture or a video of this costume. This is the point of reference.
And it's really hard. It's really hard to find those. It's really difficult to find those photos. And then in particular, and then sourcing it's hard to source photos, the weird old theme park photos, because videos, they're uploaded to a channel, thank God. But a lot of these things, they're on Zanga blogs and on Pinterest and on, they're caught up in the Google search and on Facebook fan groups and defined. It's half the time it's impossible to dig up proof that these things existed beyond one grainy picture you had. So it's
so
bananas.
Crazy.
Yeah,
and
because we didn't really take those kinds of photos back then, or it just wasn't available to do. Right. Yeah.
It just wasn't accessible.
Yeah. It's amazing that you're able to find all this.
Which I am happy that we now have the technology and the ability in the theme park community specifically to start recording these things, especially as we're about to go through the next wave of changes. We can start recording that history as rides are changing, as things are going away. We have that documented proof. If Country Bear Jamboree here at Walt Disney World went away when it did in Disneyland, at the same time, we wouldn't have the same photos or video documentation of this attraction ending. But we have that available to us now, which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's always been nerds with cameras at theme parks. I mean, that's always happened. So you're lucky, when I say that meaningfully, camera nerds the reason why their cameras go, because they just like taking pictures of stuff with their cool camera. So like when they went to Disney, they brought their camera, and then some of those ended up vlogging or becoming theme park nerds, and they end up using their materials like Jim Hill Media. Like, my God, like Jim Hill's been wandering around theme parks with a video camera since I was a toddler, and he was just doing it because like he liked to videotape things, So, and here we are, it's great.
Oh, fabulous,
who would have known that would be like priceless material these days?
Right. Truly.
It's genius. Yeah. Dan, would you like to play a little game with us?
A little game? Absolutely.
It's one actually.
Nothing more.
It's one of our most popular games. We are going to be playing.
If you have any medium-sized games or large games, I'm also happy to play those too.
I think
what I mean? Whatever. Right. I'm not sizes. You know what I mean? Like whatever you got going on. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
I'm here for what's inside.
That's great.
I mean? Inside.
Yes. I really appreciate that. Absolutely. Well, okay, so you could consider this a big game, because this is one that we play regularly. It's very popular, and we enjoy playing it a lot. So without further ado, let's get into the Wheel of Destiny. So this is going to be a game where we basically have a giant wheel, and it's got a lot of Disney items on it from Disney parks. We got snacks, movies, characters, and basically whatever it lands on, you're going to tell us, and we're going to discuss if that thing is overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated. And we'll talk it out. We can agree or disagree, whatever
I can't wait to
happens.
project all of my own feelings onto whatever the wheel lands.
I'm so excited. All right. All right. So Dan, this is our Wheel of Destiny. This is right? We got a lot of stuff.
It's
on
amazing.
And it's our colors too. It's our show colors.
That's how appropriately themed.
Right?
Think about the little things like that on this show.
Yeah, it's the details, man. When you go on Price is Right, you don't want to see the wheel that's not red and green and black, You don't want to see some purple, orange, and yellow wheel. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, I get it, man. I get it. So can I spin it like the Price is Right wheel?
Yes.
Just
So
tell
yes,
me
exactly. Hands
and
up.
I'll let it rip.
You're gonna spin first. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ah! No pickle, 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 no pickle.
Wait! Oh my God! Oh!
Past the pickle. We got past the Beverly soda.
The Beverly.
That's like hitting the full dollar, baby. I got it. I won.
Well, with your $1 Beverly Soda prize, is it underrated, overrated, or perfectly rated? I know this is a hard.
This is tough.
For those that don't know, the Beverly Soda is located over in Epcot, over at Club Cool, and many taste this and have a horrible gag reflex. I am one of those people. So,
Same.
and Megan. So, what about you, Dan?
So I have a secret Beverly project I'm working on right now.
Ooh.
That I don't know if I'm at liberty to discuss yet, but
It's good timing though.
it's going to be an obnoxious thing that ends up on my set, and I'm very excited to make it. And so I've been on a Beverly journey lately, thinking about Beverly a lot. And
So would you say it's overrated or underrated then?
Or perfectly rated.
Beverly to me is like in the same category as club soda or tonic soda. You know what I mean? It's just like a spicy, bubbly liquid you can sip on. And Papa Dan over here, he don't like none of that obnoxious spiciness with his soda. He just likes a smooth cola, So it's a hard pass for me. It's a hard pass. It's but how can you pin underrated, overrated, or it's appropriately rated on such a divisive thing?
It's a good point.
You know what I mean? It's like every time you land on something, the goalpost moves. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, it's bitter and it might not be for everybody, and it's so it's a weird thing to digest. But then you're like, well, maybe it's well, maybe if you're really into bitter stuff, it's exactly where you're at. You know what I mean? If you like hoppy, bitter hoppy beer, bitter coffee, maybe like your old busted palate is like, aha, finally a fine soda to sip upon, And then some people are just straight up just unwell humans, and they sip it and they're just like, yeah, that's fine. And it's like you don't have anything. It didn't do anything to you. You don't have anything to say.
Those are the people.
What was your home life like when you grew up, Kit, man? You know what I mean? What did mom give you when you were
Those
when
are
you
the
were
people.
grumpy
Yeah,
as a kid? Bitter soda.
I know, and those are the people that like Aperol spritzes a lot. To me, it tastes like
exactly.
Aperol. Yeah, and
What's going on with Aperol spritzes? You know what I mean?
Disgusting.
Like, it's the La Croix of alcoholic beverages. It's like
with like
a fruity
dirt
bitter
mixed in.
fart, and
Yes.
a dirty fruity bitter fart. You know, like and the farts with carbonates in. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm going to go down to visit my buddy George and his fine wine bar, and I'm going to sip cooler stuff there. None of this
Wine Bar George is so good.
Aperol
Yes.
spritz. There was an 2 or 3 years ago. I remember there was a summer of a great Aperol shortage because everyone was Aperol spritzing so hard that the stockpiles ran low.
That's okay. And that's the summer I tried an Aperol spritz for the first time. I was in Greece and I was like, I'm gonna try an Aperol spritz. It's on the menu. I took one sip and I almost gagged.
Megan, they're just not for millennials. I think they're for another generation that
I think you're right.
Has more bitterness in their heart. You know what I mean? Like you know what? The Grinch would
Gen
drink an Aperol
Xers.
spritz. The recovered Grinch loves an Aperol spritz. If that says anything about an Aperol spritz, and you
the
know
Beverly,
what I mean?
yeah,
that's what we should really be talking. Forget about if Beverly Soda is underrated or overrated. Let's talk about the people who enjoy Beverly Soda. All right, and what's going on with them?
Like, are you
God
guys okay?
bless them in their journeys through life. I wish you well, and I hope that you find a therapist that works well with you.
Agreed. That's so accurate, Dan. So honestly, I feel like more people dislike it than the people who do like it. It's rare to find a Beverly lover, in my opinion. Again, I am a West Coaster. I go over there a few times, and most of the people I interact with, they think it's disgusting. But I do have a friend that does enjoy it. Apparently, I'm like, you're lying. There's no way. You're absolutely lying.
Does he like Aperol spritzes too?
I think he is actually.
There you go. Case closed.
He used to. He's sober. I think he's a couple months sober now. So
hey, you can get a vegan Aperol spritz. You know,
yeah,
what I mean?
you can Aperol.
You can get them.
That's true.
I was in the city all weekend, and it was all well, not vegan. Vegan was the wrong thing to say. Zero proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the zero proof stuff. Yeah,
you know, and it's like and that just that just makes me upset because so what? You're gonna put offensive things in it to make me still feel all bitter and like burny in my mouth, but it's not the normal Listerine effect. What's in there, man?
Right.
What's in there? You know?
Okay. All right. Second item. Ready to spin. Boom. Let's go. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, wait. Aw, dang it.
Oh, I don't know who Humphrey is. Can someone tell me?
Wait, no. You don't know who
Spinning
Humphrey the
fast
Bear
on
is?
the
No, we're gonna talk about the one it actually landed on. Who?
Okay.
who's-
We'll save that one for another time. I'll rant about that one next.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, spinning fast on the teacups is what it landed on, and I have to say, in my adulthood, it's highly overrated. I don't enjoy spinning fast on the teacups. Oh, no, absolutely not. I don't know. The teacups in general to me are like, oh, that's a cute little ride. The line moves really fast. It's fun, but I'm not gonna spin on the teacups because I will fall over and or get sick after the ride stops. So no, not for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Same for you, Dan?
Well, as an adult, those, I can understand circumstances in which you'd want to spin fast in the teacup. Like, you just drank from a cup, you look down, there's a 1990s Mr. Yuck sticker on it. You start to panic, there's no Ipecac syrup, and you can't make yourself throw up. So you have to run to the nearest teacup and just spin as fast as you can. You jump right to the front of the line because you need to get the poison out of you. Sure, yeah, ride the teacups and spin fast. But otherwise...
scenario is I would say that's accurate.
Where I'm the total opposite. I love spinning as fast as possible on the teacups. Like I haven't done it in a hot second because nobody else is willing to go with me, but if we can make that sucker go like 50 miles per hour just going round and round, yes, I'll be nauseous afterwards. Do I make sure I don't eat beforehand? Absolutely.
True.
I love spinning fast on the teacups. I say it's underrated personally.
Interesting. I would have guessed that from you. I mean, I understand that because I mean, the spinning fast is kind of fun. You're like gotta muscle your way with
it's the
that
only way
wheel.
she feels alive. It's the only way she feels alive.
Well,
Feel something.
when you don't do drop sensations, I can do spinning sensations just fine. I just don't do drop sensations on roller coasters. So this is the closest thing I have to excitement for that. The next spin's mine. Here we go. And
All right.
spinny spin.
Spin, Danielle.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
What is this?
Oh, Epcot's Food and Wine.
Underrated,
Okay.
overrated, or perfectly rated? Oh, I'm gonna say perfectly rated.
Mm-hmm.
Some select booths can be overrated, but I would say the festival itself is perfectly rated.
I think so too. From what I've heard, I unfortunately have never been to Epcot's Food and Wine, so I don't really have too much an opinion. No, I've never been there during that time. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Festival
but this
of the
year,
Arts and
This year I
Festival of the Holidays are the only ones you experienced, right?
I've been to Festival of the Arts and Flower and Garden. I haven't been to Festival of Holidays, but will I be there, Danielle? If I get my dates right, I'm there the first weekend of November for Wine and Dine. Are we doing Food and Wine then? So it's gonna be there.
Yeah, we are.
Sweet.
Dan, I guess
Okay.
you can come along too if you want.
No, that's
Dan,
fine.
if you want to come
I
down,
don't- No, that's fine. I don't need to come. You guys, whatever.
Have you been to Food and
come
Wine?
on down.
Have I been to Food and Wine? It's been going on for like 20 years. Of course, I've been to Food and Wine.
No.
It's
also the
literally like
longest festival.
7 months out of the year.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
become this bizarre monster for like the I don't know. Epcot's just like people who live around the parks. Epcot's just like their mall. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the people who like work at Disney World and like have annual passes and like Epcot's just their mall, and Food and Wine Festival is just like a mall festival. That's all it is. You know what I mean? Like when you go to your mall, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's like Caribbean Food Fest or whatever, and they've got like a bunch of tents out in the parking lot and music going. That's all it is. It's it's just like, and it's and if half of it wasn't like wedding food, just like glorified wedding dishes, I would be more into it. Like I love that deconstructed BLT with that pork belly.
Yeah.
Incredible. But if you shape one more thing with rice and put a little fish on it and call it the next thing gonna be a sushi toaster. Yeah. Oh, well, we made a block of sushi. We put 2 little slits of block of rice. We put 2. It's like, stop shaping. Just give me sushi. You know what I mean? Like I'm sweating. I'm walking around here. It's loud. I'm eating this with a bendy plastic fork. You know what I mean? Like
A trash can is my table.
right. A trash can is my table. We don't have to be clever. It's fine. It's fine.
So would you
just
say
it makes the park
overrated
too
then?
crowded? I guess. Yeah, overrated.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I honestly was not expecting that answer out of you, Dan, but okay. All right. Well, I feel like we covered quite a few topics in that Wheel of Destiny, and we talked a lot about a lot of things, but we now want to refocus again on that top 5 that we are counting down of. Dan, we want to know your favorite Disney queues, and these can be for Disney World, Disneyland, any park around the world. We want to know what your top 5 favorite are, starting with 5 and then counting down to number 1. And I'm interested to see where this falls, especially you being like the
Me
character
too.
guy. I want to know where this falls, maybe.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, there are not a lot of characters in queues. You know what I mean?
True.
And I was going to approach this like, how did I want to rank my queues? Because like, my heart is special. I am a special boy. I think special, like, do I just want to say 5 queues, or do I want to be like cool? Be like number 5 queues with bathrooms. You know what I mean? Like, cause everyone needs a queue with a bathroom, or, a queue with a water bottle filler. Are you kidding me? Come on, get out of here. Although I am not the type of masochist to carry an incredibly heavy water bottle around with me the entire day. I'm already overweight enough. So, those don't really benefit me. So I pivoted away from a line like that. And now I just went back to more of a traditional. And I'm going to talk about cues that I think are just the most successful.
Yes.
Love that. Love it. Yep.
All right, great.
All right.
So here we go. My number 5, clearly and obviously, is Soarin'. At Disney World specifically.
Really?
And Epcot. Because, yes, it is the most successful queue, guys. It is the most successful queue. First and foremost, you got to go park out in a huge parking lot. Then there's a ton of walking. You're dragging a bunch of stuff. There's an escalator. You get into, you have to walk up a big thing. There's an escalator. You go down it. And there's suddenly a bunch of people dressed like they work at an airline. And then you have to walk through long halls to eventually get to a loading dock where you fly. It has the airport experience like down to like a T. It is wild. Soarin' is, and it's because like, well, no one thought, hey, let's build 3 IMAX theaters like in an accessible place for Epcot. So you have to like, you're walking outside of the park with these long hallways are taking you like behind the park where they have these huge buildings built that no one got bent out of shape when they built those. You can see them from literally every part of the park. But Guardians, everyone's all bent out of shape about that. Anyway,
that's because they can see it from the parking lot so easily.
Right, yeah. It's a very transparent building. But it's just such a successful queue. I really feel like I'm miserable when I want to ride Soarin'. I'm like, sure, I want to ride it, but do I want to walk 15 miles? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just a wild queue. It's just a wild, but incredibly successful queue. It's an airport. It is,
and it makes you
with
feel
food
that way.
Court,
So
escalators, weird people, foreigners, like just everything that you would want from an airport. There it is, baby. The Land Pavilion featuring Soarin'.
Accurate.
Well, that was an interesting choice for number 5. What about number 4?
Number 4 is the dinosaur at Animal Kingdom queue, only because it is like it's like you're in a Dan Brown novel. It's such the theming is so wild. You just go into a museum, guys. This is just a museum. They got that like fun little display out front. It's like a resin craft. You know what I mean? There's like turtles and it looks like water and there's like wetland grass and there's like little placards. You know what I mean? And there's like those wood railings that are like at every museum. You know what I mean? Like those wood banisters. And then you go into a thing. There's a statue. It's grand. It's big. You know what I mean? It's fun. It feels like that dinosaur ride could like move to the Museum of Natural History in DC as an attraction and kind of like almost bizarrely really fit into it, like really well. And then suddenly you break in to like the you find out that like a Dan Brown novel, well, it turns out they've been investigating antimatter in the basement of this museum. You know what I mean? It's like the basement's full of tubes of condiments and time travel. It's pretty wild. You know what I mean? It's quite the immersive experience, and I really love the story it tells. And also I really love being on the queue and just opening up my ear holes to the perception of the crowds and just listening for people to talk about McDonald's sauce. You know what I mean? I'm just listening because it's like one of those facts that like people who love the trivia section of IMDb love to hold on to and share with people when they're in groups. And I love it. I love it so much. And so the tubes and dinosaur, number 4, the condiment tubes. My number 3 is Toy Story Mania at Toy Story Land in Disney's Hollywood Studios.
100%.
And
Agreed.
I only say this because as I wandered around there, there is kind of like a bizarre, grounded, immersive storytelling device, albeit kind of poorly executed in terms of there's not a lick of shade anywhere, and backyards tend to be shady sometimes. And
not here in Florida, we don't have trees in our backyards.
Yeah, but you got lanais, and so like we could have put up something at the very least. And call me crazy, but I slid my butt all over the butt of a bee, and in a very large backyard at the very same theme park that gave me all kinds of lovely shade and little nooks and crannies to stick my butt in. You know what I mean? But now it's just a bright. It's like Dune going to Toy Story Land. You know what I mean? It's like Arrakis. It's just hot.
Instead of the worm, you're getting Slinky Dog coming over the hill.
Yeah, it's the Slinky Dog, right? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna make a Dune TikTok next time I'm down. Dapper Danielle, you got to show up. You gotta be my.
I'll do the little worm dance, and then all of a sudden Slinky Dog appears.
yeah, exactly. You got to do the worm.
The worm walk.
What I love about it is, again, it's incredibly successful in that. Like, I guess like a kid could have built this. Like, I put together wild stuff in my backyard or in my basement, with all of my the toy room in my house. I had 4 sisters, was always chaos. You couldn't even see the floor half the time because we would build stuff and then it all fall apart. And then it's probably why I have ADT and have no organizational skills, because like I just would pull the nonsense out of the pile and build, have adventures, like just like Andy did. So I get it. But what I love about it is that I tasked a dear friend of mine to make an entire YouTube video about it, and he did. It's one of my favorite pieces of content that he made. But my buddy Rob from Midway to Main Street went through Toy Story Midway Mania and Toy Story Land and inventoried every single toy that was used in the immersive Andy's build of the playground, and he gathered and totaled that it would cost, and this was 5 years ago, so we'll have to adjust for inflation, of course, that it would have cost Andy $1,511 to purchase all of the toys, $1,511 to purchase all of the toys that would have been necessary to build the backyard theme park that he has. And so it's a really fun thinking exercise, which was how much did Andy's mom spend on toys?
Yeah, she's a single mom. We don't know what happened to Andy's dad. Maybe this is either child support money, or it could be she had a really great life insurance check, and that's why she's able to afford the kids' lifestyle, which they have. We don't know.
Either way, it's a little grim, but it's okay. Andy's still happy, I think.
What about number 2 for you, though, Dan? I love your number 3. What about number 2?
Number 2 has to be, and like, listen, Yellow Shoes, I need you to call me, because if I could work out like a thing where I could do this would be great, because you're not using the queue not half the time, and the queue is such a vibe. Just let me hang out in there. Don't have to turn any lights on. You get a couple folding chairs, take out all the rails. The rails are the worst part, and just let me vibe and hang out. And of course, I'm talking about the queue for the Living Seas Nemo ride at Epcot, because you feel like a fish, brah. You just live your fish life, man. You're under the sea, truly. Move over aerials, under the sea adventure, or whatever it's called, between 2 different parks with 2 completely different names, because that makes a ton of sense. This ride queue is glorious, and it sets the stage for the entire experience, because you really like, it's just such a vibe. And there's no Little Mermaid has got Scuttle, you know what I mean? And you got and he's like, Scuttle, I'm a bird. You know what I mean? Squawk, that kind of stuff. But this ride, it's just a vibe, man. It's like, it set up, I would if I could just rent out I would love to get like a massage there. You know what I mean? Just warm it up a little bit, because I'm chilly. I'm chilly on that table with the thin towel. Right? Yeah. But let me just be bathed in the light. Let me just get work out my IT band or whatever, and just let me vibe to the sounds of the ocean. Let me hear the seagulls. But I don't want the ocean. I'm like Anakin Skywalker. Sand can go pound it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want sand, but I want the sterile safety of feeling like I'm an aquatic creature that the Living Seas queue offers me, man. It's great.
Love that.
And it's always empty.
Yeah.
Agreeable. For the most part, right? Yeah.
For such a spectacular, miraculous vibe. It's
what? Actually, I take that back. Yesterday, the line for Seas with Nemo and Friends was up to 40 minutes.
It's spring break. The spring break crowds have arrived.
But
so yes.
Any other time, yes, it's only a 10-minute walk on.
Yeah, okay. But maybe for 3 hours. But come 3 p.m. No one's on that ride.
Accurate.
No one's on. Everyone's
For sure.
Everyone's in the back of the park.
Or late at night. Yeah. Sure.
Everyone's in the back of the park. Yeah. Like if they would let me people mover it and just stay on the darn thing, I would just rewrite it. I would just my gosh. Same with Figment. Just let me people mover it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. And then speaking of Figment, my number 1, of course, is the Journey into Imagination. Imagination Pavilion queue. Yes! Of course it is.
What?
It is one of my favorite queues. It is incredibly successful in that you truly feel much like Dinosaur, but even more so, because there's not the Da Vinci Code pretense. It's just all absurdity from the minute you walk in. And my favorite thing about it, and why are you all sleeping on this? Why are y'all sleeping on this? The Imagination Pavilion queue has one of the best effects that rivals on the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums, where they encourage people to make weird faces in front of a mirror, and then you find out out that later on it was a two-way mirror, and people later in the exhibit get to watch you look like an idiot. When you walk through the Imagination Pavilion queue, there's a doorway with an illusion of a really long hallway, and like a window at the end of it, and it's a fun like Willy Wonka kind of illusion.
Yeah.
But when you're in the queue space when you're in the Spark of Imagination Lab, when you go into the Imagination Lab, that window from the queue is accessible. You can stand there and watch from the reverse angle of the hallway. People walk by and gawk into the doors like idiots. It's super fun to do, and it's like this fun reverse optical illusion passageway thing. And then not to mention you've got like fun references to just really great pieces of content with truly great comedians from Robin Williams, Rick Moranis, like it's, and even the Monty Python boys are fine, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's great. And I love that Weibo's in there. And I love that, like, Flubber is I'm honestly shocked that we haven't rebooted Flubber yet. You want me to be quite honest,
True.
Give John Mulaney like a weird sack of green goo and just let him go wild or whatever, whatever it would be. It's been, because Flubber's just so darn cool.
So cool. Yeah.
I love that queue. Also because the queue's next to my favorite bathroom. Also Winnie the Pooh hangs out next to that queue, and he's my favorite rumbly tumbly bear.
With his little net.
With his little net. Yep, exactly. And I just get it. And every once in a while you hang around that building long enough, you might make some DVC friends, get to go upstairs, get like a free small cup of Coke that you could have just gotten over at the Coke Experience. I don't know exactly what exclusivity is going on in that glass pyramid. There's no real offerings. It's kind of like
it's a chair. You're getting in for the chair to be able to sit down and
you get to sit down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in the AC.
You won't believe how many chairs are at this park, guys. It is a bananas. If you count the amount of chairs at Epcot, you're gonna go crazy when you find out that you don't need to be in the. And this has been Dan's top 5 queues. Yeah,
Dan, I have to say that was probably the most entertaining countdown we have had on this show ever. So thank you so much for that one.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
It was a good laugh. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you being here. So thank you, and thank you for providing history and insight into those cues as well. Because
I think I was just yelling about them mostly.
That's
but
okay.
If you got some history, that's good.
Yeah. Well, Dan, can you tell the people where they can find you, where most of your content is? Anything else that you want to promote and let the people know about?
Yeah.
You can find me on YouTube, where I am Disney Dan for now. Maybe by the time this comes up, I won't be Disney Dan anymore on YouTube.
Really?
I might have.
You're changing?
I might have pivoted. Yeah, I'm going to pivot to Distery Dan, only because Disney, by and large, is a really bad SEO word these days, and people are very divisive about it unnecessarily because we have to project all of our emotions into anything that gives us joy and be incredibly defensive about it. And so now I just, it'd just be easier if I'm just Distery Dan. And because I've also kind of worked through some of the more interesting stories about Disney costumes, and now I'm finding more interesting stories elsewhere. And so Distery Dan, I'll just be Distery Dan, and Disteries will be Dan Histories. But Disney Dan on YouTube. My God, that was a long way to just say, find me at Disney Dan on YouTube. If you just go on YouTube and search Disney Dan, there I'll be. And also you can find my new podcast that I'm doing.
Yay!
Called Dan's Secret Basement Podcast. Coming, there will be an episode out by the time this episode comes out. So this is going to be in like 2-3 weeks, right?
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. So if you're listening, that when Humphrey the Bear TikTok, that dates it. That's when we were recording. And my podcast should hopefully be out. And if it's not out, feel free to aggressively yell at me. But I have lots of, it's very crazy up here in this head. I'm a very anxious, ADD riddled man. And I have lots of wild ideas that I want to talk about, but I don't let them in my mind palace because it's already crazy enough. So I store them in my secret basement of my mind to talk about later. And I have fun people on to talk with me about the weird things that I want to talk about that I don't have a platform to talk about on in my secret basement.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Yeah.
And it's actually in my basement. So
Danny,
nice. If you want to produce it, baby, give me a call. All right. Here's my card. I don't have any cards. We're digital, but you know what I'm saying. No, so Dan's Secret Basement Podcast, and then also TikTok, Instagram, where I make all that vertical short form content that is rotting your brain. So make sure you go check that. And Yeah, man. Disney Dan, the disneydan.com. Can't go wrong going there.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Aw,
Thank you, Disney Dan, for being
fabulous.
here. Yes, on the Disney Countdown show. We do appreciate your time. And yeah, thanks for the laughs this episode.
And look who's
No
popped onto
problem.
the screen to join
Oh my
us.
god, it's a Figment puppet. Disney Dan has brought out Figment, the Figment puppet. Hello.
If you're listening to this, you're doing it wrong, buddy. You're doing it. With respect, I know you're probably listening to it for a reason. You're driving. Be responsible, but you got to get home and watch it on video again.
Yes. Yep. Watch the YouTube.
Well, I thank you so much again, Dan, for joining us, and Figment,
Yes, thank you.
Figment as
Yeah,
well.
of
And
course.
we'll have to have you back on some other time too to talk about maybe some Muppet stuff when that does come around, because I
I'll
will
never
be
be
talking
coming
about
back.
Muppets.
I'll never
Sweet.
be coming back. Thank you for the invite, but I won't be back.
Dan, you have to, because I still have your Figment backpack anyway.
Oh yeah, well I'll get that. Don't worry about it. I'll still get that. No worries.
Okay.
Amazing.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye guys.
Wow. I honestly, I really loved his picks for his 1 through 5.
Me
And
too.
I'm interested to break down into yours, but since we actually recorded that portion beforehand, before this episode, Dan does have one other piece of information that actually just released just a few days ago, and he wasn't able to talk about it for the longest time, and that's why he didn't talk about it in that recording either. But big news, Dan was actually invited to be part of a new series or a new special that's releasing on the History Channel. And the special is called How Disney Built America. And last year, he was contacted by a production company looking for Disney creators to participate in a new cable television show about Walt's legacy. So he was reached out to, and he's going to be telling, I don't know specifically on what he's going to be talking about or like what he's putting into it, but he's super excited. And this little special is going to be releasing on April 28th. So later on this week after this episode releases. And since it is a History Channel thing, I do believe it should be available on Disney Plus shortly thereafter as well.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. That's
We're so excited
awesome.
for you, Dan.
Yes. Congratulations, Dan. That's huge. Wow. I can't wait to watch it. That's so exciting.
I'm just excited because then I can go through it. Like stuff like that already interests me anyway. So I'll be able to go through and like watch and just be like, I know that guy. That's me.
Right. Like, hey, we talked to that guy.
Yeah, we promoted this right before he was even allowed to talk about it. That's great.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, Dan, you're amazing. Congratulations. That's pretty dang.
Congratulations, my
That's
guy.
awesome. Yep.
But Megan, I feel like we need to go ahead and jump into what our 5 through 1 are for our cues.
I think so. I think let's count down our top 5, shall we?
While you're getting yours up and around,
get to
let me
my
just
list,
tell you,
yes.
in the last episode, when we were trying to do our 10 through 6, I did not have my notebook again. I remembered to pack the microphone. Did I remember the notebook? No, I did not. So I was literally trying to pull it up. The amount of scribbling I had to do in this list to reorganize some stuff, and now I'm second guessing my life choices.
It's tough. It's tough
It is
just because
tough.
rides that you don't really think about keep popping up in your head and you're like, oh, I don't know if I would put that over this one. So this one was a little difficult, I will say.
See, and now they're all just going to get moved to the bonus episode is what's going to happen.
I think a lot of mine are going to get moved too, or have been moved. Yeah, they've been bumped out.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, Megan, do you want to start us off, or would you like me to start us off with recapping what we said in the last episode?
So I did start us off last time, I remember. So let's
Okay.
have you start, Danielle.
Okay, I'll start us off. Okay, so my number 10 was Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Number 9 was Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Number 8 was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad in Walt Disney World. Number 7 was Slinky Dog Dash here at Hollywood Studios. And number 6 was Tower of Terror here at Walt Disney World.
I love that she chose the thrill rides that she doesn't even go on.
I only go on one of them. Well, 2 of them. And the other 3, I just like the aesthetic. Again, they're my favorite.
Fair.
I'll go into those rides and I'll be entertained, like looking at the queue. And I'm like, oh, I love the theming. I love the story. Hey, you want me to hold your bags? Okay, chicken exit.
Yeah,
So really,
let's go
the
to
chicken exit's really one for these queues. Is really
I
what it
love
was.
the chicken exit. Yep. Still, I love it. All right. So, do you want me to, should I do my quick recap too?
Go ahead and do yours real quick.
Okay. All right. So my number 10 was Jungle Cruise over at Disneyland. My number 9, Peter Pan at Magic Kingdom. 8, Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Number 7, Tower of Terror. And number 6, Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. Yes, I love our stretching room.
Oh, yes. And we had a whole discussion on that of like, okay, does that count as like the queue or is that pre? Yeah, it is part of the queue. So we'll give you that one. That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, my number 5, after much moving around, and I'm still debating on whether or not I really like this at this point, but number 5 is Jungle Cruise here at Walt Disney World for me.
Oh, okay. All right. Not bad. So I honestly can't even remember what that queue looks like.
Well, I think because when you wrote it with me, when you came down for the holiday season, because you went on it as Jingle Cruise too, right?
No, I did not do Jingle Cruise. No, I think when I went on it with you, it was
Was it right before that?
No. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember now. I feel like it was spring. No?
Yeah, it's all a blur.
Yeah, I feel like it was either February or spring. Yeah.
Okay, and I think we went through the Fast Pass section.
We did do Lightning Lane. Yes,
we did do Lightning Lane, that one.
And I haven't even done standby for that. That was my first time on Jungle Cruise at Magic Kingdom.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
So I haven't seen much of the queue.
See,
but tell me about
it. Well, when you were filming content, you had to go and you had to do a live stream thing. I took Beastly Appetite onto Eric. We took him onto Jungle Cruise here this last trip. We got one of the best cast members, and I'm blanking on her name, but I feel like she listens to the show. So if you do listen to the show, darling, and you know who I'm talking about because I'm talking directly to you at this time. If you were listening to the show and you did every joke that I mentioned in the Jungle Cruise episodes and in the bonus episodes, girl, I love you.
She did them all.
She did. She even did the "It's a Small World" joke inside the temple.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I know you are listening. I know you listen to the podcast. And I loved it so much.
That's awesome.
But Eric didn't listen to that episode. So he just thought these were the best jokes ever. The man was almost on the floor laughing his head off.
He does his wheeze laugh where there's like no sound, but it's just a bunch of air that comes out.
Dying. And then so he's laughing, which is making this whole like group of boys that are like older. I want to say they were like seniors in high school, and they're on their senior trip, and we're doing this at night. There's 4 of them right in front of us, and then me and Eric, and just dying. This whole gaggle of boys are just hanging out, and they're just like loving every single bit of it. She did some great ones. She did some great ones that we didn't even mention on the list too, that I'm just like, that's great. I'm adding that to my list for next time. But
I love that so much.
But we also, for that one, we went during fireworks. There was no line. We zipped right up there and we had nobody. But if you do have to wait in that queue, it's not bad. I loved it. And I chose this one also for the music, kind of like how I did for Tower of Terror.
Oh, yes. Gotta love that queue music.
Yes. If you are listening on Spotify, somebody has created a Spotify playlist with the songs from the 1920s and 30s are in the queue. And they're like the exact same things without the cute little skipper voices, but those are there in the queue. You can search that on Spotify, just the original Jungle Cruise ride like audio.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I do really enjoy Magic Kingdom's Jungle Cruise. Honestly, I think it might be better than ours, in my opinion. I don't know if I've said that before, but
I like it because it's also more accessible. The queue is a little tighter, but you don't have to go up a flight of stairs.
Right, because we have that second level that opens up pretty quickly if the line gets over like 15 minutes. So
right.
Yep, it's true. Alrighty, well, my number 5 is going to be Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom, which we did just a few days ago in the pouring rain.
Yeah, you did.
And
were you guys guys were like, well, let's go ride it. I'm like, I'm staying here. I ain't right. I'm not going walking all the way over there with y'all to get caught in the rain. I'm just staying right here under Flame Tree Barbecue and hanging out. That's what I'm doing.
We literally said tornado watch, say less. Expedition Everest. Let's go.
But there was no lightning, so the ride didn't go down.
No, we heard thunder at one point, I think. Like
no
two little rolls of thunder, but no lightning, correct. So and it only lasted for like what, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe? 2 hours max.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Oh, the sun was out again. So that was fun. We went through the queue and everything, did standby because of course standby was essentially 5 minutes. Everybody was leaving the park at that time. And the queue is just, it's really, really cool. And you really feel like
a museum almost.
It does look like, yes, a Himalayas museum with all of the artifacts and the pictures. Some of the little jokes that they have, like I was looking at the one little setup near where you're about to get on the ride, where it has pictures of like a bear or a gorilla, and it says "bear?" ? Or like gorilla ? Like they're looking for the Yeti, obviously. So that's kind of a joke that they're like bear. And there's pictures of actual bears. I think it's so cool, and it's everywhere you turn. There's something new to look at, something like an artifact, and I like the music too. The music's really cool.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, it helps that it's one of my favorite rides at Walt Disney World. But
can I tell you, I really like the queue for Expedition Everest. Also hate the ride. Another one I will not ride.
I know,
but that one did not make my list at all because it got bumped because Disney Parks social media made a video talking about how you can hit the bells just right and you can do It's a Small World.
Oh.
So guess what everybody in the queue tries to do?
Oh no, I haven't heard that. Okay. That would ruin it for me for sure.
Yes. So the bells do ring. They actually do work. And it makes Danielle want to turn around and yeet somebody out of the line. So Jerry from New Jersey, you're gone if you do that while I'm there.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts as well. I don't think I've been there quite enough to hear that, but oh man. Thanks, Disney Parks social media.
If you go through the
lightning
lane or the single rider line, you don't have to.
Which I have done quite a bit. I will say that I've waited in standby 2 times in the last 3 years. So there's that.
So there's a group of cast members that work over at Expedition Everest that do follow me, and maybe some of them also listen here to the podcast. I'm not sure. Hello, Expedition Everest fam, if you are listening. And they know me to the point where they know if I'm walking through and there's somebody that is like doing the counts of like, oh, who's going where, and I walk up and I'm just like, chicken exit, please. There was one guy, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name either. I'm so sorry, my cast member fam. He was like, what do you mean? And then the guy that was working the chicken exit in the single rider queue, he's like, that's Dapper Danielle. She doesn't ride. Just waved me through and took me to the exit because they know I'll stand and wait in line, but I will not ride that ride.
Yep. Like we know her. She's not going on. Come on this way.
Come this way.
That's so funny. Great. That's great. All right. What's number 4 for you, Danielle? Yeah, number 4.
Okay. This one, some people are going to question me because I think a lot of people from the last episode thought that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway from Walt Disney World was going to be up higher on the list. Well, number 4 is where Mickey and Minnie's Disneyland is going.
Woo! I thought that was going to be a little higher, but that's okay.
Right? And I think some people thought they were going to swap. No. Okay. So this one's being placed right here at number 4 for Runaway Railway because I do like the idea that you're going into the El Capitan. And as a history person, kind of like Expedition Everest, how you're going through and you're looking at like a museum, the El Capitan basically goes through the whole history of Mickey Mouse.
Yep,
and
Mickey cartoons.
Every single Mickey cartoon, from the really old stuff to the super new stuff. You got your Mousecatools, you got everything represented in there. So as a nerd, I just like going through and reading every single plaque and trying to make sure I can like guess like, okay, this is from this episode. Oh my gosh, I'm right. So I find it very amusing with myself. But it's a great history tidbit for also the history of animation, realizing like, oh, hey, this one, who was I with? I was in line with somebody last time I was there in Disneyland, and they were just like, oh yeah, this is whatever. And I'm like, well, do you realize that Mickey Mouse cartoon came out pre-World War II and like all this other stuff? Yeah. So I like that cue specifically for the history tidbits of Mickey Mouse.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. It will show up on my list. You don't know where it is, but it's going to be here.
Is yours showing up higher on the list than mine?
We'll see. We'll see. I'm a land girl, so that's fair. That's fair.
Yes, but
we'll be fair about that.
The fact that that's my favorite attraction and that one did not get number one.
I'm actually quite shocked that it's not 1, 2, or 3. Yeah. We can speak more on it later because I will. Okay. My number 4 is over at Magic Kingdom again, and it's gonna be Tron. I love Tron. I love the IP. I love the movies. I cannot wait for the next movie that's coming out because I know that they've kind of teased it a little bit. But
did you see somebody? They're filming in New York, and somebody saw them filming outside their window, so they've been taking back like from their apartment window videos of the filming.
I have not seen that, but I'm going to look it up
I'll send
as
you a
soon as
video
we're done
later.
recording. Please do. I cannot wait for the next Tron. A big fan of the music and just the visuals. I think that the one part where you're standing there in that room and the lighting it feels like the doors open or the windows open to the ride below, and you see
you're being transported into
the grid.
Digiverse.
Yes. Yeah. So stinking cool. I really appreciate that they put lockers there for you to go easily use your magic band, open them, put your stuff in, and then go on the ride. And yeah, again, just the visuals of it. I'm a big fan. Tron is one of my favorite IPs for Disney. So I had to put it in my top 5. The ride wouldn't necessarily be in my top 5, but the queue is incredible.
Okay.
Yeah, the ride's a little too short for me.
For our cast member friends that operate that one, when you put your items in the locker, please remember that you need to bring the magic band with you that you use to open said locker with you, because if you open it and then you put the magic band in the locker, that's not how you open the locker. So bring it with you.
That's how you're going to get your stuff back.
Yeah.
Don't put it in the locker. That's a good tip, Danielle.
Yeah. It's always so funny and amusing because, again, that's another one that I will go through the queue, but I will check and exit, and I just stand there by the lockers and I watch all these people just struggle busing. Like, how do I unlock it? Well, where's your magic band? In the locker? What?
What? Sorry?
Oh. Well, moving on to number 3. Okay, this one I was actually surprised myself. I chose Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
This one got bumped up because the amount of AC that is in this attractions queue. Great amount of AC, usually, when it works. And I really love going onto the rooftop scene. I love seeing Gusteau's sign up there and how he talks to you. I like the fact that you're shrinking down to the size of the mouse, and then you're going through the little gutters and you're getting out onto the rooftop to be able to enter into the kitchen. I love the whole queue setup. I like the music. I like the vibes. I will say, though, those back hallways, though, are the worst hallways to get crop dusted in. There's no air circulation out that way.
No. No, there isn't. Oh boy.
Please make sure you DO for the BO and take care of that before you enter that queue. Thank you, Danielle, during summertime.
Just hold it for a few seconds. Okay, thanks.
You.
Please, thank you. Yep. That's so funny.
That's my number 3.
Love it. I love it. Remy's is one that I wish I could do a little bit more of. I think I've only been on it twice, which, yeah. Again, I need to experience it a little bit more. But I love that choice. Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar movie, as we all know. So, yeah, big fan. Big fan of that ride. Yeah. Yay. Okay. My number 3. Let's see. Let's get to my list here. Yes, my number 3. Okay. Well, we all knew it was going to end up probably higher on my list. This is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which is not only my favorite ride in all 6 parks in the United States, but it has one of my favorite queues. I love walking into that building and hearing things about Xandar, and I just love that big old room where it looks like you're in some sort of planetarium. And then walking through the little like sets. Is it like I've done the lightning lane every time. Dioramas, thank you.
Dioramas.
Yes, love those. And of course, the pre-shows, fantastic, as we all know. So it had to be top 3 for me.
I know we kind of talked about it last episode, but the amount of details, because like that diorama that they have of the whole city, if you get stuck there and you're having to wait and you listen to the whole loop, they go through and the light changes on certain parts of Xandar, and they said, this is our entertainment district, this is our natural history museums. I'm like, y'all put that much thought and effort into where this community's water supply is and where their theater is. That is amazing. I think that is so cool. So yeah, that one, I like it where it is on my list, but it makes sense for where it's on your list.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the ride as a whole. But yeah, lots of detail, lots of effort went into that queue as well as the ride. So I'm blown away by the Imagineers who created it. So there it is at number 3.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Well, moving on to number 2 for me is Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion.
Oh, okay. Number 2. All right.
I was okay. This is another one where I'm like looking at it. I'm like, okay, do I still agree with that choice? Do I not agree with that choice? No, I still think I agree with this choice. I really like our interactive courtyard when it works. I really like being able to walk through and you see the busts of the different people that were supposedly living in the mansion, and they all murdered each other. And you got to see, there's little hints to try to figure out who did what. I really love that portion. I like walking through and seeing Madame Leota there too. Our stretching room, even though it doesn't go down into the ground, is pretty cool. They finally fixed the lighting. All the portraits are much brighter now. You can actually see everything a little bit better. And I also really like our cast members that work the Haunted Mansion. They're pretty chill too.
They're great. The cast members at Haunted are fantastic. Agreed. I do love that queue. I will say. I haven't walked through it a ton, so I feel like it was just tough for me to put in my top 10. But the interactive stuff is amazing.
The courtyard's closed. Like sometimes that's even closed off because if the line's really short, it's only like a 15-minute wait. You bypass it altogether.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I've done that a bunch. I have waited in that longer line by the boat or the dock area where whenever it extends out there. So I feel like I just need to like see it more maybe. But love that choice. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think a lot of people will agree with you.
Well, what about your number 2, Miss Megan?
My number 2 is going to be, Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. Now, in the 2 to 3 times that I've waited in this standby line, it's been good. It's been moving. It has moved. And I just love, this is the part that I am bummed to miss every time I use the lightning lane, is that I love seeing the actual Avatar in its little chamber, its little
whole science lab over there.
The whole lab is amazing. I mean, the fact that they built that and it looks so real right in front of you, I'm just like, that is incredible. When I first saw it, I was blown away. And as daunting as that queue is, because it does get very long, I still love it. I think they did a great job with it. Just being outside near the waterfalls with the floating mountains, it's beautiful. So I had to put it in my top because I'm just choice. Seeing the Avatar is pretty cool. Yeah,
that one barely made my top 10, and I did not choose it. One of our DC 33 members mentioned it here in the queue, in our chat. Brianna said, "Shout out to the bathroom in the Avatar line."
And there's a bathroom. Yes,
it wasn't originally.
There wasn't. Yeah,
you know that, right?
I do. Yeah,
I think we've talked about this before.
Yes, we have.
But yeah, it wasn't there originally, and people are gross, so that's why it's there now. So that's why I did not get my top 10, because I was a cast member and I had friends transfer into my roles that were cast members in that role, so it got pushed out a little bit. But the queue is very, very impressive.
Yes.
So good choice though, Megan. Good choice.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
All right. Well,
We're
it
actually
is
number
already
one
time
already?
to
All right.
say our number one. But before we get into all that, thank you again, y'all, so much for listening this far into the episode. Shout out again to Disney Dan. Make sure you go follow him on all of his socials. As of right
Yes.
now, I believe he is still the Disney Dan on Instagram, YouTube, all the things that might be changing here very soon. So if you're listening to this episode later, you might have to do a little bit of digging to be able to find that. So just bear that in mind. But make sure you're following along here on Disney content. Again, I'm the Dapper Danielle. We have Megan, the Magical Millennial _ on all of her socials. Make sure you're following along to see all of her Star Wars content that she's going to be posting or had posted also. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So
Yes.
number one. I'm actually wondering if this is your number one also, Megan. I could be horribly wrong. We'll see. It is Rise of the Resistance is number one for Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
it is, it's the only one that I'm okay with waiting in for the most part. I really, because the queue is part of the attraction.
Right. Yes. Yes, it is.
So you have to go through multiple rooms. The storytelling's amazing. The immersiveness is amazing. So, it doesn't really need much explanation, but that is why
True.
Rise of the Resistance is my number one.
Okay. Here's why it's not in my list at all.
What?
Or even in my 11 through 15. I consider the ride to start at the first room. Like the ride starts when you see Rey and
Really?
Yes, and BB-8. To me, it's a 15-minute experience. It's definitely like more than just being on that in the vehicle with the droid leading you through the ship and everything. The queue for me is everything leading up to Rey. That's just like personal opinion thing, and that's why it's not even in my list. If I consider the queue, I would absolutely put it in my top 10. But I do consider the ride to start in Rey's room with BB-8.
Interesting.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I think this is where me and Megan are going to disagree with this one. So
Yeah, we're going to disagree.
If you are listening, you are going to have to let us know. See, our chat's already sounding off. Like Taylor agrees with me, but Amber agrees with you, Megan. Y'all, you're going to have to let us know. Do you agree? Is Rise of the Resistance queue? Does it start in the pre-show room, or does it start when you're actually in the vehicle? Let us know. So I love that. Thank you for explaining your answer, though, Miss Megan.
Yeah, of course. I definitely think people will have very varying opinions. I don't know if it's because like when the ride was being built, when it was being promoted, it was supposed to be a 15-minute experience. So I always consider that 15 minutes to start in the BB-8 room. And so that's when the ride started. Maybe it's just a predetermined thing in my head. But
Okay.
yeah.
See, I think this one also got a little bit higher on my list too, because I time going on Rise of the Resistance great with Florida weather. So
Yes.
because you know it's going to take X amount of time to be in that queue. It has the most air conditioning. It does have little seats built into certain parts of
Yes.
the queue.
Mhm.
And I know I can wait in there for X amount of time, and I'm just going to stay out of the rain. And usually by that time, that storm has passed. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It is a great queue in the fact that they did include some seating portions. I do like the props and the costumes that they use within the queue. And it looks great. And I like the little waterfall, the feature that they have
yes.
on the outside. But that is my personal perspective on it. I love that you have it as your number one. And yeah. And it probably will explain why my number one is where it
Okay.
is.
So then what is your number one then, Miss
My
Megan?
number one is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway in Toontown at Disneyland. When I first saw this queue, I probably was in there for longer than the ride goes, at least for sure. Just because I wanted to see how much they add. I mean, I love the beginning. I love the little posters with Disney
posters are
characters.
amazing.
Amazing. Like, was it High School, something goofy movie. High School Musical, but like it's Goofy related. And then they have Parent Trap with, oh my gosh. And now I'm blanking. I haven't been on the ride in a while, guys. Sorry.
Or no, Nutty
The
Professor is with the Duck family.
Yes. And then I think Parent Trap is like with, Chip and Dale or something like that. I'm getting it all mixed up, and I need to go on it again. Sorry. But the portion I really like is actually it's not in the first room. It's not in the second, but the third one with, Fun and Fancy Free, Jack and the Beanstalk. And then the next one is going to be Mickey's, one of the first Mickey's Christmas episodes with Chip and Dale and Pluto. And those two cartoons specifically are ones that I watched over and over again as a kid. We even have Fun and Fancy Free. I think we sold all our VHSs, but we had Fun and Fancy Free, and we watched that movie so much as kids, me and my brother. So we saw Bongo and we watched Jack and the Beanstalk constantly because of how much we loved it. And I really love that they put that in there. And the whole beanstalk is going through the roof. And did you know that the ceiling changes with the time of day as well? I thought that was kind of cool. So during the day, it'll be brighter. And then at night, it goes to nighttime. Yeah. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. Fun fact for Danielle. So yeah, I'm just, all the detail that went into it, the progression and the timeline of the Mickey cartoons is simply fantastic. Hits my little nostalgia millennial heart so hard. And that is why it's at number 1. We finally got a good cue. They gave us an amazing cue that all the other theme parks have. We finally got a good one.
And
so
thank you to Disney.
Disney.
The very back of the park. Toontown.
But how fitting for Toontown. I think it's just worked so perfectly in Toontown. So
it does. It really does. And I love how, our DC 33 fam has been popping off in the comments.
I know.
Ever since we did this one. And Lindsay does say, who is it? Lindsay? No. Taylor says, so funny that Megan's is Mickey and Minnie's and Danielle's is Star Wars. Plot twist.
Big plot twist.
I feel like we swapped roles for this one. I think some people are going to be like, wait. No. This is wrong. Redo this all over again. So again, let us know in the comments or send us a message. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. We'd love to hear it. And also our bonus episode is going to be talking about those ones that barely made our list. And I know some of you are like, okay, there's a couple of rides that were not mentioned. Where are they? They're probably going to be in the bonus episode.
Yes, most likely. I think it is hard to narrow this down to 10, y'all. So if you want to hear those bonus choices are 11 through 15. Of course, we do have the content. If you want to become a paid subscriber or join the Patreon, we'll have that for you. And I think it's going to make sense once we reveal those.
It'll make more sense. Don't worry.
Yes. But thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, have a very magical day.
And night, sleep tight, dream of churros tonight. Oh goodness! See, even Adam is in the thing, and he's like, "Freaky Friday action going on right here."
This
in the pod.
Is weird.
It's true.
Y'all switch bodies or something? Switch minds?
Honestly, after that trip to Walt Disney World, nothing's like not possible. Like
that's true.
It was
that's
a time.
True.
It was a time.
Yep.
This episode of the Disney Countdown Show is brought to you by our members of our exclusive Club DC 33.
Mayor B 13.
Zach Brown.
Lindsay Marie.
Danielle Boudreau.
Liz.
Kayla.
Maggie, Millennial Speaker of the House.
Sarah.
Piper.
Nikki.
Mark O.
Janelle.
Hannah Trebert.
Stephanie.
Cammie.
Haley Rose.
Debbie F.
Gab.
Shalimar.
Mindy.
Vicky Lovett.
Courtney Yarborough.
Brianna.
Emily.
Amber.
Julia.
Jessie.
Kiki.
Leanne.
Bernie.
Jeffrey.
Melody P.
Adam.
Heather.
Ann Wick.
Chica.
Aspen.
Diana at the Castle.
Ashes.
Nikki.
Alicia.
Emily in Wonderland.
Mariah S.
Dr. Jonathan Giles.
Maria K.
Charlene.
Skipper Jim.
Matt Powell.
Nikki.
Adam.
To have your name read at the end of our new episodes and to receive a bunch of magical perks, Please check out our Patreon via the link in the episode notes.
Or visit patreon.com/Disney Countdown Show. We'll see you there.